Welcome back to this World of Warcraft Let's Play. You're Sambo, and joining us, as always, is Seraphis, our Worgen mage. Say g'day, Seraphis.
Our fates are intertwined.
Our fates are intertwined. In fact, folks, fate has been cruel to us yet again. I can't believe this. I'm devastated and heartbroken. Oh, you might notice that we are now level 30. That's right, we're all of a sudden level 30. In fact, we got our achievement here, reach level 30. Congratulations to you, Seraphis. How come we're suddenly level 30 when in the last episode we weren't? That is because thanks to horrible Vista, that's right, Windows Vista, I lost yet another entire episode of unrepeatable content. I'm absolutely heartbroken. Of all the episodes to lose, we lost a fantastic one, folks. We had a really cool series of quests. One-off quests that saw us being shape-shifted into druid cat forms, fighting off the horde, all sorts of really cool once-off things that we've lost forever now, thanks to horrible Vista. And yes, before you say it, I know I have to upgrade to Windows 7 as soon as possible. I've got absolutely no choice now. It's actually quite amazing because you'll remember we lost an episode here in Ashenvale Forest. Where were we? Let's have a look at the map here. We were over here, I think, up the top, and here we are, Meister's Post, and we were being attacked by the Horde. There was another scripted event there where the Horde destroyers came in and attacked Meister's Post. A very similar thing just happened to us down here as well, near the Rainwood Retreat, and you'll see that all of a sudden a lot of quests have disappeared. That's because we've done them. Had an awesome scripted event, and we had to basically go and speak to a druid and get shape-shifted into a cat form, and we discussed what it's like to actually play a cat druid and use all of its abilities, go through this horde attack, and we lost it all forever. I'm so bitterly disappointed, and of course I'm also very sorry that you guys get to miss out on what is an amazingly cool event, and it's all gone. It's all new here in the Cataclysm as well, and you're never going to get to see it on our Let's Play. So I just want to go away and cry. Unfortunately, it's just really truly heartbreaking losing content. But look, we've got a couple of things that we have to be mindful of now. One is because we've actually leveled to level 30, we now have to really get cracking because we've only got till the end of level 30, as you can see here, to do 2 instances. And you know what? What that means is we're actually going to be able to only do 1 now, because as soon as we hop into 1 instance, you can see here we're already a bar and a half into level 30 down the bottom. We're going to hit level 31 in that run, which means it's going to be too late to do the other one. So we're going to have to make a choice. So this episode we'll try and cut back on the XP gaining. I'll take you for a walkthrough of what we did last time. We're not going to be able to see everything, of course, but we'll give you a general idea. And then we're going to have to choose either the Stormwind Stockade or Black Fathom Deeps, because like I say, I dare say we'll probably ding a 31 in one of them. So in terms of it being interesting, we'll probably choose Black Fathom Deeps. It's a much more interesting run than the Stormwind Stockade. And perhaps what we'll do is manually go into the Stormwind Stockade. We might be able to get a group in Stormwind City, but it'll be much harder to get a group for Black Fathom Deep, so we'll use the Dungeon Finder for that. But in the meantime, let's mount up, and I'll see if I can take you through what happened last time in the episode that's been lost forever. Seriously, I just want to go and have a good old cry. The only thing that can make me happier is the wonderful hugeness and beauty of Ashenvale Forest as we get away from the fire. Of course, you might remember in the last episode, well, it's not the last episode, but the last episode you guys saw, where we were dealing to, where were we? We were up here and we were dealing to Magmathar up the top there, and we took him out around the base of the volcano last time, of course, and we were doing some other questing where we basically had to go to where the old lake was, and we had to cleanse the gem. Well, we handed that gem in the episode that we've lost, and we then have to do something else, which I'll show you shortly, but we did hand that in down here at the Rainwood Retreat. Now, the other thing that we went through in the last episode that you all have missed is I got a lot of comments from people saying, oh, it's great to see Ashenvale, but you know, a lot of people tend to be lazy these days because look at the amount of flight points that are in the zone. In fact, if we check them out now, you can see we've got one up here in Black Fathom Camp, we've got one here in Astronar, we've got one down here in Stardust Spire, and we've also got one all the way over here in Forest Song. Now, I'm certainly not disagreeing with the commenter that made the point that, gosh, yeah, people are lazy these days. They need flight points all over the place. And you know what, to a certain extent, that is true. People have got a lot lazier these days. But one thing that you should consider, by the way, is that a lot of us these days are very time poor. And of course, that means that, you know, we'd love to be able to play WoW all the time, but we can't because of job commitments, family commitments, and all the rest of it. And so having these flight points here actually make it easy for those of us who don't have a lot of time. Now the thing is, at the end of the day, folks, don't forget that it still is a player choice. So just because these flight points are here doesn't mean you actually have to use them. If you want to go old school style and be running around the place and adventuring, then you know you can just not use the flight points. You do have that choice. And by the way, it's the same for the quest tracker. And this is an important point to make. What we picked up last time, which again you won't have seen, is this quest here and this quest here. This one's called Search the Bowl. Now, this is to find a wooden key, because we're trying to make this thing called Dartle's Rod, and that's what we needed to cleanse the gem for. And you can see here the quest says, Rain is correct, I know about Dartle's creation and the tree ants in the area, at least I once did. They've become corrupted now. To find the next piece of the rod, and remember we've already found the gem, you'll have to find a key to open the chest it's in. Now what we have to do is that it says here the wooden key is on one of the tree ants northeast of here near the Fellwood border at the Howling Vale. Once you have it, look for a small glade through the tunnel at the Vale. The chest should be hidden around there. Now a lot of people say, oh, okay, cool, we've got the quest tracker. Now, just like the flight points, you know, it's not like it was in the old days where you used to have to adventure around and find things. And this quest is a classic example of that. In fact, I remember back in the vanilla days of WoW, trying to find this particular area and these tree ants and the key that we need for this quest. Now, a thing to remember is, again, you don't need to use all these tools. If you want to and you don't have a lot of time and you need to know where to go, that's fine, you can use these. But remember, down the bottom here we've got this thing called Show Quest Objectives. Now if I turn this off, there we go. That, folks, that there is old school. That's what it used to look like in the old days. In fact, you didn't even used to have a minimized map like this. Notice how we can have the map up and still run around the world, right? Well, back in the day you didn't have that. It was either this or this. You never ever had the option of having two at the same time. You could either be running around or looking at the map. And what you'd do instead is you would go to your quest log here and you would read the quest description to try and actually figure out where you need to go. So for example, if we look at this quest again, you can see here it says the wooden key is on one of the tree ants northeast of here. So for a start, you'd look at your pip on the map and say, okay, we're here. All right, we'd have to travel northeast, and this is where the old school stuff comes in. And again, as I'm demonstrating here, you can still do this. If you like adventuring and you like figuring out clues, you can do it this way. So again, reading that quest, the wooden key is on the tree ant northeast of here near the Fellwood border at the Howling Vale. So what you'd do is you'd go up here and you'd say, okay, here's Fellwood. The Fellwood is a zone above Ashenvale. So if we zoom out to the Kalimdor map, you can see here we are in Ashenvale. Fellwood is directly north of us, nestled in between Mount Hygel, which is a high level 80 to 85 zone, and Darkshore, where we've already been. You can see there is Fellwood next door. Now Fellwood is also a high level zone, way too high for us. It's about level 40, 45, somewhere around there, unless things have changed, of course, in the Cataclysm. So what you'd know is that you'd have to run north here until you hit the border, and it used to get very scary because you'd start coming across creatures that are very high level. But the quest text, again, the quest text isn't just there for the sake of it, it actually always contains clues. So if you want to roll back all these tools, i.e. not have this, alright, because of course we can see here where we need to go, but if you want to do it old school style, turn it all off and you can actually run up here and try and find the Fellwood border. Now I remember back in the day this quest used to give me heaps of trouble because I'd be trying to find the tree ants and indeed trying to find the actual chest. And the same, by the way, with this other quest here. Actually, if we go back to the map and we turn on the objectives, this one here, in the hands of the perverse. Now, if we read the quest log here, It says, what are we looking for? This is a quest we picked up from a satyr, which you'll see in a minute, who's turned friendly. He wants to redeem himself. And what he's saying is that his former clan raided the Fallen Sky Lake some time ago, stealing moonstones that were unique to the area. Those moonstones are known to have great healing properties. Now, folks, if you remember in the last few episodes, back in Astronar, over here, we've been trying to heal the daughter of that guy, the sick child, and we've had a couple of attempts and we haven't had much luck. Well, this quest is all about that. It says that if we get these moonstones, they have great healing properties that can surely be used to cure the little girl that lies sick in Astronar. Now, this is another example of old school quest stuff. It says here that the night run rests up the road to the east that runs north. So there's a road east here and it runs north. There are multiple paths that lead up into the hills on its eastern side, and it is there that you will find my unrepentant brethren, i.e. other satyrs. They will have what you seek. So we need to go find these satyrs to get the moonstones. Now you can see here on the map where it is. It's up on this plateau. If I turn off all the objectives, back in the day, for example, if you use the quest tracker now and you just try and run straight towards that objective, see what's there? There's a great big cliff and you can't actually get up there. And I remember back in the day having to navigate my way and explore around and finally figure out that you have to come up the back way here and actually come up onto this plateau to get what you're after. So there you go, folks, just an example with both the flight points and all of this set of tools here. You don't have to use them if you're got the luxury of lots of time and you want to really play an adventure game, which you can do with WoW. Just turn it all off. There you go, and you're back to old school, having to use the clues in the quest log to try and figure out where you go. And of course, it's a great way of learning the layout of the land. So there you go, folks. That's our little rant and rave, and just a reminder that, of course, you can still play this game as an adventure game. You don't have to be following the dots. But one thing we do know is that what you can do is you can click on an objective here and click Track Quest, and of course that will bring it up here in the quest tracker. We can do the same with this one. And when we do have these trackers up, of course, not forgetting you can right click and sort the quests either by their difficulty or their proximity. So at the moment it's basically saying, hey, the In the Hands of the Perverse quest is the nearest one. And another thing to remember too, when you click on these numbers, which also highlight the map, notice up here we've got a little pip on our mini map. Just wanting to remind you that if you hover over that, it actually shows you which way you need to go. So it shows you the direction. And if you hover over it, the hover text actually gives you the name of the quest. Now watch this pip. If I select a different quest, there you go. Did you see it actually changed? So you can flick between your quests and it will actually update that arrow showing which direction you need to go in. Now before we go and do those quests, I want to take you through here. This is the site of our last episode, our lost episode. And one thing we noted here, see, we're suddenly coming across the Horde. And another one of our commenters said in an episode I was watching today, they said, gosh, seeing your videos all throughout Ashen Vale here remind me of the old days, although it seems to have changed a bit, where they've really put the war in Warcraft. And I really like that comment. They have indeed. Since the Cataclysm has come about, what we're seeing now is a lot of Horde right up in our face. A lot of the quests are really trying to push like you said, the war of Warcraft, really highlighting that factional dissonance, if you like, between us, the Alliance, and the Horde. And you can see right here, we've got this going on. We've got the Horde actually fighting against these laughing sisters. And, we're going to find this happening a lot more. There, by the way, is Rainwood Retreat. Let's go over there and have a look. Because what we did was we quested out of this little hub here, the Rainwood Tower, because as you can see, these Horde are fighting our little laughing sisters here. Let's help one out. We'll take on one of these nasty Warsong vanguards. You can see he was about to have a go at our laughing sister. And what we had to do in the last episode was, unfortunately, a bit of a grisly task, was to pick up all the corpses that these Warsong vanguards are leaving behind of our laughing sisters. And you can see one down here. And what we were doing was we were picking these up, and we had to pick 10 of them up and then take them over to a druid over here. And I'll show you, because it's a really cool building that we made a big song and dance about in the last episode that, again, you'll never see. I'm never going to live that down. Oh, it really bugs me. I love, look at this. Really cool buildings. And by the way, it was raining last time we were here too. It was absolutely fantastic. It was just a really light rain. It's funny because I was playing with a friend earlier tonight and they said, hey Sambo, does it still rain in the world of Warcraft? And you know what, it was raining here before. Just to prove the point, and it was really sad that I've lost that video again, because I was saying how amazingly this reminds me of being back home in New Zealand, because in New Zealand we have rainforests. Of course they're not bright purple like this, but they're very similar in terms of the feel. They're sort of dark and dank, although it's not dark and dank now. It was when we were filming earlier, and it was a light rain, and it really did feel like I was running around back home going for a trek or a tramp. I used to do that a lot with my parents out in the rainforest under the light rain, and the rain used to be great because it would keep us a bit cool, keep us from getting too hot when we were tramping around in these wonderful great forests just like this. Green rather than purple, but very similar feel. Anyway, what we did was we picked up those corpses there. Like I said, in your face stuff now. We're really getting pushed to have the whole Horde versus Alliance war going on. And of course, now that the Horde are being led by Garrosh Hellscream rather than by Thrall, who was the old Horde leader, things have really changed up a bit. He's really pushing out into the world and trying to reclaim a lot of territory. So that'll flow down to us in our quests. And I think in the last couple of expansions, that's sort of been defocused. The whole Horde versus Alliance thing hasn't really mattered much, but hey, as you can see right there, we've got Horde in our face, and this is the second time that we've faced them directly in this zone. And unfortunately, can you believe it? Oh, seriously, I know I'm whinging on about it, but it just breaks my heart. We had another scripted event where we had a Horde invasion of this very tower. We spoke to this woman here, and you can see there, we must do more than hold the tree. The Horde will never give up. We must destroy them. What she did was she actually allowed us to shapeshift into a druid DPS cat form, and I'm so upset that you missed that, because basically it gave you a little glimpse into what it's like to actually be a druid, which is a fantastic class to play. And we had our abilities down here. We were shapeshifted into a nice awesome looking see-through sort of spectral tiger panther thing, and we had rake and we had claw and we had pounce, and it was a really great example of the speed that you can attack things with, much different from our good old mage here. We were up front, melee in the face, raking and clawing away and pouncing from afar. And when we stepped outside of the building here, there were all of these Horde war machines phased in right here, right where I'm standing, and they basically started attacking this amazing architecture here, this amazing tree house. And that's also what I wanted to show you. It's so cool, isn't it? The tree basically is hollowed out, and the night elves build their architecture around it, sort of blending in with the forest scenery. It's so cool. I love the design of these buildings, and of course you can actually go inside there and climb right up to the top, which we kind of climbed halfway before. So when we came out here, we had all these Horde war machines. We had orcs riding kodos. Kodos are a mount native to the Taurens over in Mulgore and also over in the Barrens. And unfortunately, now you won't get to see them. I don't know when you'll get to see them again, but kodos are a really cool mount. Again, if you roll yourself a Horde, and especially a Tauren, you'll get to ride them. We had those riders, we had war machines here. We had to get on our Panther and take them all out, which we did, and save the tree there. So I'm sorry this is such a talky episode, but I really want to take you through what has happened, because it's really important, and especially with the Horde really encroaching upon us now, like I say, getting up in our face. It's really becoming obvious that the Cataclysm has, designed it so that now you're really aware of these factional differences, the Alliance versus the Horde. Oops, hello, another war song, Vanguard. And like I said, the other thing that happened throughout that entire amazing, once only, never to be seen again quest line that we lost. Just want to cry, seriously, such a big girl, that we lost forever, was that we dinged level 30. And what I'll do is we'll get back to the Rainwood retreat over here, the Rainwood Tower, and I'll show you what happened as a result of that. Not only did we get ourselves a really cool level 30 achievement there, as you can see, but we also got ourselves a couple of other special things, and I'll show you them in a minute. Let's see if we can get back here. By the way, after we defended the tree over there and handed back the corpses, who, by the way, will be resurrected, our little sisters there who had doing a big fight against the Horde. They will be resurrected. We came back here and handed in, and the whole battle phased out, gone forever, and it's then that we lost the episode. So upset. Anyway, let's see what we got at level 30. We've got a couple of things. Firstly, we got the ability to learn dual talent specialization. Now that's a big thing, major big thing, by the way. And basically what it is, if we look at our talent tree here, you can see we've got one set of 3 trees. Now you know that these talents are a lot shorter, or rather the talent trees are a lot shorter than they used to be prior to the Cataclysm, and we're now limited to choosing one, and in our case we've got either Arcane, Fire or Frost. Now as you probably know, we have to go all the way down to the bottom of the tree, which will basically take us to level 60 before we can start speccing into other trees. Now for us as a mage it's not so important, but for example if we were a druid like we were just talking about before with cat form and bear form, which is a tank, you've got a moonkin, boomkin form, which is your DPS, you've got a travel form, which is the cheetah, and you've got a water form, which is like a walrus, and of course you've got good old bear form as a tank. Something like your talent trees become very, very important, because for example you would, if you were tree form, which is a healing type class, if you're or rather shapeshifter, if you're a druid, you would want to spec into the restoration tree. But then again, if you change form into a tank, you'll want to probably spec into a balance tree or something like that. So it's a bit hard because you've only got one set of trees. Well, when you hit level 30, you get the option to learn from your trainer a thing called dual talent specialization. What that does is put 2 little flags down the side here, and what it means is for a fee. Now back in the day that fee used to be 1,000 gold. I think it's been reduced a lot in the Cataclysm. We'll go and check it out at our trainer, I promise, next time. You can actually purchase the dual specialization talent, and what that does is allow you to spec in one talent tree, and then you can completely switch out to a fresh new set of blank 3 talent trees and spec into something else. So using ourselves as an example, and again not so important because we're just DPS, but we could spec down here into Arcane, and then literally with the click of a button change talent trees and be specced into Frost. So they're like 2 completely separate trees, and you can switch between them. So don't forget, when you hit level 30 you do gain that ability and you learn it from your trainer. Now as a mage we also learned a couple of other bits and pieces. We got this here, remove curse. Now we haven't learned it yet, we have to go see our trainer of course. Remove curse, 1 curse from a friendly target. Now that is extremely important of course when we're running instances or in raids, because it means we can decurse debuffs from our fellow party members, so it's a very important skill to learn. And here down in Frost we learnt something called Ice Block, and I'll read it out there. It says you become encased in a block of ice protecting you from all physical attacks and spells for 10 seconds, but during that time you cannot attack, you cannot move, and you cannot cast spells. And it says there that it also causes hypothermia, preventing you from recasting Ice Block for 30 seconds. Now, that does exactly what it says. It's a really interesting talent, or spell rather. It's got a huge cooldown. You can see there 5 minutes. And that is an eternity, especially if you're PvPing, and that's where this skill really comes in handy. It literally does what it says. It literally encases you around you in a great big block of ice, and basically you're impervious to all damage. So you use it as an emergency procedure, because basically anyone hitting you, casting spells on you, doing anything to you, it doesn't affect you in the slightest. Now as it says there, it actually only lasts for 10 seconds, but in PvP that can literally mean the difference between life and death. Unfortunately, excuse me, you can't do anything while you're in that block of ice. So you can't cast spells, you can't move, you're literally stuck there in that block of ice on the spot. But hopefully in PvP it means that another of your teammates will take out the person who was attacking you. And remember, you do use it judiciously because you've got a whole 5-minute cooldown on it. So there we go, that's what we got at level 30. Ice Block, and we got Remove Curse, and we got the ability to learn dual talent specialization. Now if you're wondering when you get your next mount ability, because of course at the moment when we run around we've got our run speed increased by 60%. You've also got journeyman riding. That's not available till level 40, and that allows us to actually get 100% running speed. So that's your big fast ground mount skill, not till level 40. A lot of people saying, hey, when do you get that? It's not 30, it's 40. And I think I've basically brought you up to speed. Once again, I'm so sorry for the talky sort of nature of the episode, but I'm just I'm still absolutely heartbroken. I'm going to have to go have myself a stiff drink or something. There was so much going on around here, around over there. You can see it off in the distance there, that fabulous architecture, the night elves building around nature there, hollowing out that tree and building their sort of outpost around it. We fought off the Horde invasion. We turned into a panther. We got to see what it was like to be a cat-form druid as a class, and I'm so sorry you missed it. And yeah, we got back here and basically handed in, and here's where we're up to. And of course we leveled to level 30. So let's at least accept this quest. Let's see what it says here. Report from the Northern Front. The battle against the Horde isn't being waged from Rainwood Tower alone. That's where we are now. There's a more substantial Silverwing Sentinel presence at the Silverwing Grove to the southeast, near the border with the Barrens. From our grove, Sentinel Farsong directs our efforts against those who would destroy our lands. I'm a bit late in sending my latest report to her, but also hesitant to leave this tower unattended. I'm in dire need of your help. So basically, this is a cookie crumb quest to take us down to the Silverwing Grove, and you can see that's way down at the bottom here. And if we bring up our map, and zoom out, you can see that that actually leads us close to the Northern Barrens. You can see that there it is there, report to the Northern Front. Now those of you again who have played WoW way old school from vanilla days will know about the Barrens. Have a look at this map. If you haven't seen how it's updated now with the Cataclysm, look, it's split into two, Northern Barrens and Southern Barrens. That's a huge big change, and you can see that we're basically right on its border here, up at the top of Ashenvale. Just below us here is the Northern Barrens. So that quest there will actually take us down to the Barrens. If we have a look in our log here, you'll see that it's actually level 25. And do you know what? It's got a P next to it. I'm actually not sure what that is. I don't know what the P means. Can you believe that? It might be a party quest. I don't know. D means dungeon. 25p, don't know. But that's the highest level quest we've got, and that will probably drive us into the Barrens region. In the meantime, of course, we've got other things to do well before then. And you can see up here, we need to go and get the key off the Treants up north near the Felwood border, and we have to go find these fallen moonstones up on the plateau here, where we will collect those, and that will hopefully help us to cure the little girl at Astronaut. So there's lots for us to do, but as I mentioned right at the beginning of the episode, taking it right back to the beginning, we are already a bar and a half into level 30. So the very next thing we need to do is actually choose one of these instances, which again will be Blackfathom Deeps, and we have to do that before anything else. There's no more questing for us. I'll queue us up for a dungeon finder off camera, and so the next episode you'll see will likely be a Blackfathom Deeps run. Let's repair ourselves up here and sell off all of our junk. Just making sure, there we go, we've got a soulbound crossbow, which was a reward we got from our last episode that you missed. And we've got the report there that we have to deliver down to the Barrens border. So there we go, folks. I'm so sorry that you missed that incredible episode. We'll make up for it with some amazing views of this huge expanse of Ashenvale forest that again reminds me of doing tramps at home in New Zealand. And just not forgetting too that the main message here is that the Horde attacked us directly over there at the tree. They're really bringing this factional warfare up into our face, especially in this war zone here in Ashenvale. So I certainly hope you will join us for all the adventures in the future. And for goodness sake, Vista, I certainly hope you don't make us lose any more amazing episodes, especially how ironic is that? In one zone, we've lost 2 Horde battle scripted events to the annals of time, never to be seen again on this character. Bitterly disappointed. I'm going to go away with my tail between my legs and have a good old cry, I think, and hope that it never happens again. In the meantime, folks, I certainly hope you're having a better time of it than I've had. I hope you are going to join us in the next episode of Blackfathom Deeps. Until then, it's my sad self, and it's Seraphis, our now level 30 Worgen Mage, wishing you all the best and hoping you'll join us next time. Take care, we'll see you then, and bye-bye.